I did have something grand planned for the opening of this behind the wheel till I realized that the car behind me is the 2024 Toyota Innova Zenix. Now, it barely needs an introduction because since its first introduction to the Philippines back in 1991 as the Tamarao FX, from Aparito Sarangani, this car is known nationwide. After spending some time with it, however, I found that it does have some stiff competition out there. It does also have some things that it has over the competition, and it also has one aspect that absolutely infuriates me. Find out what those are on this episode of Behind the Wheel. Let's start at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. Sorry, Earl and I were listening to musicals inside the car. There are two variants available for the Zenix. The non-hybrid comes in at 1,670,000 Philippine pesos, and this hybrid has a sticker of 1,953,000 Philippine pesos. You'll have to add another 15,000 pesos for both models if you want to get the Pearl Mica White, which is quite nice really, but others out there might just think it's a little bit too much, not of great value. What is of great value, mind you, is the AutoDeal app. Our app is much more than just a pricing and comparo tool. Our dealer partners and elite sales agent can find the model, color, and price you're looking at for your new car. From the smallest of hatchbacks to the largest of SUVs, we help thousands of people find the best prices at their fingertips. Now, 2 million Philippine pesos for an Innova sounds a bit painful, and truthfully it is. But then you'd be saying it wrong, because this isn't just an Innova, it's a Zenix. And the closest car competition rather that it has in terms of size and price is the Hyundai Custom. And you'll know exactly what I mean if you watch its review after this particular review, where the links are found down below. The Innova Zenix has an all-new shape, an all-new look, and it truly is, well, glamorous and tough. It's like Rihanna at last year's Super Bowl performance. Because I don't want to talk about this year's Super Bowl.
Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
Faithful! A large grille leads the highlights, followed by LED headlamps and horizontal DRLs below, which double as your indicators. Down the side, you've got large windows that stretch before the A pillar and past the C pillar. Both repeaters and cameras can be found on the side mirror, which are part of the 360 view, and act as a driver aid when you indicate in a turn. 18-inch alloys wrapped in 50 series tires, which look almost as good as those on a Fortuner, keep the car 185 millimeters above the ground. The huge barn door at the back is powered, a first for the Innova line, which houses a third brake light up on top for maximum visibility, mimicked by the taillights that wrap around the rear corners. Its size is but millimeters away from the diesel Innova when you're talking about height and width. The very big difference is the wheelbase. It's got 100 millimeters more. Now I do realize that's basically 4 inches, which isn't a lot, but inside it spells a lot of space, and that I'd like to show you. When you pop her open, sorry, it takes a while, 1 or 2 business days. There is enough space at the rear, which we figured to be roughly about 150, almost 200 liters of space behind the third row. Good enough for carry-on luggage, maybe 1, 2, possibly 3. That's a lot of space, which also increases just a little bit when you lift this to hide dark secrets, you know, Jack's dirty magazines and stuff. Don't deny it, Jack. I've seen them. You need help. You need to find Jesus. When you fold the second row as such, you will have, ladies and gentlemen, a total of 900 liters of space, which is definitely good enough for 4 balikbayan boxes and a bit more just up on top. Now that is made possible because what Toyota has done is that instead of the diesel Innova where you have the third row sort of like be tumbled down and up into the sides, now it is completely flat from lip to tip. Head out of the gutter, Earl, stop it.
What did you just say? What did he say?
Look, back to the review. So it's completely flat, and I love it because you can slide everything inside. This, I think, is one large selling point of the Innova because it just has so much space. What that space feels like when the seats are up, I'm dying to show you that too. One large advantage the Zenix has over the car giving it a run for its money is found at its heart. This 4-cylinder gasoline engine is paired with an electric motor that is powered by batteries that are found underneath the driver and passenger seats, with a combined output of 183 horses and 393 Nm of torque paired with a CVT. Now, the electric motor, thanks to the batteries, can propel the vehicle by its own, meaning it does have a full EV mode in an Innova. How do you like them apples? The rear seats, remarkable that even though they fold flat, when you pop them up, there is a decent amount of space because leg room, well, can exponentially be much bigger depending on how generous the person in front of you is going to be sitting. The headroom is not so great, but the elbow room for 2 adults back here, 2, I guess, medium to small adults, very, very nice. If there were a third person here, however, which you can, it's possible, it's just that might be a tight fit. I'll say this though, all of this is still most definitely much better than the diesel Innova. Much, much better. Toys back here, not a lot. Apart from the air vents that you have on either side, you also have bottle holders here and on this side as well. And then you only have one 12-volt socket here at the back. That's really about it. This really isn't where it's all at, because normally this is for cargo. That is where you want to be. Here in the second row is where the Zenix has some really tough competition. Sure, it's got captain's chairs with ottomans. It's got a tray table that folds out. Air controls found here up front, which control the vents here up on top. You've got USB charging points found there, bottle holders on either door, cup holders here in the center tray, and even a parcel hook. It's just that the competition in the form of the Hyundai Custom really spoils the second row a little bit more, with power options and air options as well for the captain's chairs and a panoramic roof. There is no doubt that it's really comfortable. It's just that, see, here in the Zenix, the comfort of the second row mimics what the comfort is for the first row, without the ottoman, of course. Now, the Hyundai Custom is where people are spoiled in the second row. Here, however, in the Zenix, if you will drive as much as you will be driven, that actually could spell the difference because it has an ace. It isn't exactly going to capture your heart, but it's not boring either. It is, though, a step way up in terms of layout from the diesel Innova. The instrument cluster is a mix of analog and digital gauges. Audio and driver aid functions are on the steering wheel with paddles just behind. The elevated shifter is unfortunately surrounded by piano black, and the reverse camera could use better clarity. But the air controls are very easy to get to, and so are the drive modes, including popping it into full EV. Charging points include Type A and C ports, a 12-volt socket for the front passenger, and bottle holders in the center. Now, some might say that the Toyota Safety Sense inside the Zenix and the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto would be a great highlight. I say nay, because here in the Zenix, it has a Caco function.
The what?
A Caco function. Hear me out. You have cruise control, which I'm a big fan of. You also have adaptive cruise. Great tech, but I'm not a fan of it. Here, I can actually turn off the distance control function. Hence, Toyota made this button just for me. Caco function.
You know, instead of saying you're not a fan of it, you could just say you're old. You don't have to be shy.
Jack, I need this. The Niners lost. Can I have this win? Just this one, please.
Oh, big burly man gets ball across the line. Woo, yeah, big time. Woo, big bowl, Super Bowl. Wow.
I hate him. There is one more thing that the Zenix most definitely has over the competition, and one other thing that absolutely infuriates me. Let's find out what they are by going on a drive. But before we do please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel, because we create all these videos just for you guys.
Clue, one of them, you can't hear it.
That's actually right. The second thing that the Zenix does absolutely well is move. Now, while the aforementioned Custom is comfortable up the wazoo in the second row, it does not have the power of the Zenix. No, sir. It gives you confidence whether you're going about it on relatively flat highways or you're going up and down relative curves inside or outside the city. This car and its power really does give you confidence, and it doesn't complain much. It doesn't complain much. I say this because in relation to the Custom, it feels just so much better to drive. If you're wondering why I keep yapping about the Custom in relation to this car, well, check out the video where the links are somewhere down below and you will understand exactly why. The transition from internal combustion engine to electric motor is seamless, smooth really. At times you don't even understand what's going on, and it's doing it already before you even know. And the transmission, though a CVT, is actually quite sorted. Look, it's not an 86, it's an MPV, and really it drives well for what it is. The noise inside the cabin, that might start creeping up to you, especially when, let's say, for example, you're going down EDSA at 40 kilometers per hour, because you as the driver or the front passenger may need to speak up to be heard at the back. But I will say that while on EDSA, the suspension, although can be quite stiff, is actually still pretty good. Understand also that this being an MPV that is a hybrid, it's got batteries right underneath, so it needs to be a little bit stiffer to carry all that weight. It also readies itself to be able to carry a full complement of passengers, which can be a total of 7. The one aspect that really gets me by my short and curlies is the fuel efficiency of this car. Because it's a hybrid and the electric motor is powered by the batteries, and oh, by the way, it's exempted from coding, this car can achieve 22.3 kilometers per liter on the highway, which is good enough. But inside the city, it can do 13.7 kilometers per liter. This is a gasoline-powered MPV inside Metro Manila traffic doing 13.6. 7. Yawa! My Montero doesn't even come close to that. And it's a diesel. But really, in all seriousness, it's really quite amazing how this car handles the way it does and yet still perform efficiently. In the weekend that we took it out, which is, granted, it was somewhat of a light weekend because it was Chinese New Year, but it had to contend with Monday morning traffic. It's just, how, who?
You.
Oh, me? You!
Hands on the wheel, please.
If you were to look solely at the second row, then yes, there's most definitely room for improvement. And I gotta add a better reverse camera. I just gotta put that in there. But see, the 2024 Toyota Innova Zenix is, well, it's a good 50-50 really, because it's great for anybody that wants to sit in the back and be driven, but that same person also won't mind taking the wheel when that pamper doesn't exist. I'll also say that the Innova Zenix is one of the few cars out there that you can drive without fear of getting caught in a coding window. And for that aspect alone, you can't quantify it monetarily. What you can quantify is just exactly how fuel efficient this car is, and the fact that there is no other MPV out there that's a hybrid and this good.
Go!